Hello, everyone. It's good to be
Hey.
back. All right, so I'm here with Quentin from WeWeb, of course, head of growth, and I'm Joyce, product marketing manager at WeWeb as well. And today, what we're going to show you is actually let me share my screen right away so you can see what we're going to show you. We're going to show you how we built this, the WeWeb Academy on our website. So if you're familiar with it, you have lots of different videos that you can search, and you can select, different categories. So we're going to show you how to do that starting from scratch. Does that sound good? Let's see if there are a few people in the chat already or not. If you As usual, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the chat. I'll be mostly focused on my project, but Quentin can help you out. And if there's anything you'd like us to cover, don't hesitate to ask.
Hey,
Hello,
Pipe
Pipe
Trend.
Trend. Good to see you. All right, so let's get started right away. I'll start by creating a project from scratch in WeWeb. I'll just take a blank slate and select this. We'll call it WeWeb Academy, and I'll just add OH because it's office hours. And I'll show you just quickly the Airtable base that we're going to connect to our project. So
Pipe Trend has
basically,
a question already,
all right, yeah,
how to add a pre-populated drop-down list for the user to pick an item from it. Yeah, we can show this during the demo.
absolutely, yeah.
Then
So in
two. Yeah, sorry, because there are lots of questions. How to
go.
pre-populate? Okay. How to pre-populate a drop-down list B depending on the value selected from a drop-down list A. So, okay, how to get the value from a drop-down? That we can show too. And then finally, after A and B are defined, how to run a query API get command from the database that is in Xano. Okay,
Nice.
lot of questions, but it's definitely doable. I'm not sure if this is in this example, but we can showcase it.
Number three, it's definitely not in this example because we're using Airtable, but I think the demo will take about like 20-30 minutes. So we can try to do it live in this office hours. If we don't have time to do it in these office hours, we'll definitely do. I think it's a great use case, and we can definitely do them in the next one with Zano specifically. For your first question, we can do this we're going to start by doing it these with buttons like we did on our website, but we'll also show you, I can definitely do a little bit of a swerve and show you with the drop down
Yeah,
select as well.
yeah,
And then
definitely. Because
for,
I didn't think about this, but we can do the categories with a drop down. Yeah, so
yeah,
this is
absolutely.
exactly the same thing. And what
Yeah,
you would do, Pipe20 is like bind the drop down to a list, a collection inside WeWeb, and then get the value that was selected. And then sending it to an API is the same as sending it to Airtable. Like it's
yeah.
getting back the variable. But yeah.
So we'll try to weave that into the demo for sure, into this use case, I mean. Okay, so I have just to show you how it works on the back end. We're using an Airtable database with two tables. So we have a table with a list of lessons where we have the lesson name, the description, a link to the video on YouTube, a thumbnail, and also a status. So for example, here you see it's only the published lessons, but here you have all the videos. So this is important because when we bind our data, when we add our table collection to WeWeb, we're actually only going to add the published lessons because we're not interested in the lessons that haven't been published yet. And then we have the courses they're related to, and the order in the course. So we also have a table with all our courses, or a list of courses, and the order in which we want them to appear. So here, for example, 1, 2, 3, and then it's not in order. Then we don't even have a 4, but it's basically authentication. And you see that's the order in which we display them on our website. So that's what it looks like on the back end. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go inside our new blank project and we'll get started. So maybe the first thing we can do is we can add our Airtable collection. So the first thing we need to do is actually add a data source. And here we have to go and find our API key in Airtable. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for 2 seconds.
I do this.
All right, cool. And go and find my API key. Just so you know, when you click on, find it here, it'll bring you right to the correct screen in Airtable. So now you pasted it in WeWeb. You can just click on continue and add a collection. So we'll first add a collection with all our Academy lessons. The source is Airtable. We'll leave it as dynamic because we don't want to have to republish our website or refetch a collection or sync with Airtable every time we make a change in Airtable. So when we choose dynamic, it means that whenever a new lesson comes into here, into published lessons, it will automatically be updated on our website. And so let's go ahead and get our Airtable base, and we want the lessons. And so this is what I was telling you about. We actually, we don't want the grid view, we want the published lessons view. So we want only these, which are filtered by status. So the status of the lesson is published. Now we'll add, I can't remember, I'm not sure I need a lookup depth. So I'll leave it at 0 for now.
Maybe for
Lookup depth,
the
yeah, I might need it
filters.
for the lesson,
Yeah.
for the filters. Let me try without it and see if I need it later. I probably do. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort my lessons very quickly by lesson name. No, actually by course order. Sorry. So the course order is ascending. Let me check if that's right. Design your front end. So this is design. Then it will be use cases. So that's fine. And also I want to order in the course, and let's check if that's right order. So I want this in this order. That's the order I want to display my lessons in, and it's important for me because that's I want the user to for the quick start, for example, I want them to see this first. The plugins comes a little bit later. For the use cases, I actually want to show this use case first. This use case is pretty cool, but it's a bit more advanced. So I like to choose the order in which the user to suggest to the user what order is best
Yeah.
to start with.
And in Airtable,
Um,
this is basically integer, like a number,
yeah,
like the
absolutely.
order.
So it's here in the courses, it's just this. It's a custom type number integer. And so, I did it here. And okay, let's go. So I've got this collection, and I'm also going to create right away my collection for courses. Leave it at dynamic, academy, and courses. And in this case, I just have one view, the grid view, so that's fine. I'll leave it at that. And continue. And in this case, do I need to sort them? Yeah, actually I do.
Yeah.
So let me, course order is ascending. And here we go. So I want to start with all quick start use cases and finish with SEO because that's kind of something you look at towards the end of your project. When you add the metadata and stuff like that, it means you've already built your project really. All right. Okay, so now I have my data in WeWeb. It's here. It's not on the page yet. I need to start building my page. So to build my page, so this is the page you land on when you start with a blank project in WeWeb. So the first thing I'm going to do is rename this section hero section, and I'm going to add heading and a search. So I'll add a search bar here as well. All right, so my heading I can center here. We'll call it We'll say it's the WeWeb Academy. I'll add some padding to my entire section actually, and I'll just change this. By default, it's 100 VH view height, so that means like viewport height. So it's it'll be 100% of your screen, whatever screen you're using. So we'll just put that back to automatic. And the search bar, I'm gonna actually add a little bit of margin above. So let me just add here some margin. Actually, I'll add some more. And here I can, with the search, you can really style it as you want. Even the placeholder, you could add a little like search emoji if you wanted to, which I like to do. It's what we did on our website. You can change the placeholders here, like search WeWeb Academy. Um, and really here you can style in any way you want. So you can add a fixed width. You could go ahead and reduce it to 350, for example. You could add a bit more corner radius to style it, whichever way seemed good, match your style, basically your design. So now we have this section with which is kind of our hero section, which is similar to this. And what we'll do now is we want to add another section with our academy, basically, and we'll have two columns. We'll have a small column for the list of categories of courses. And to get back to your question pipe, Tran, what we'll do is we'll first do it with buttons like this, and then we'll show you afterwards how you could do that with a select drop down. In our case, we like the design of having all the buttons that way. So we'll show you like that first. But we'll show you
Is
the
that
select drop down.
Patron has a new question though. It's like, can you make it run ends like the Academy We website? I think that's just what you've done, like with the border
Yeah,
radius.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So the round ends on the button. Yeah, we'll do that.
And yeah, and it's the same as on the search. Actually, it's using border radius in CSS, and
Yeah,
if you set a value to this, it will round the edges, and basically it's either in pixels or percent, and like 50%, I think, is totally round, or no, 100% is totally round.
yeah, I
But
think it's 100.
yeah, that's the value you see here on Joy
Yeah,
screen.
so it's this one here. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit to do that. And so it's this one here. If we change it to 50, it will change. You see the change here. And if we change it back to 0, it will be a square. So like this. So I'll put it back. I'll set it to 16. Oops, sorry. Here we go. I need to go back here. And there you have the round edges here. Okay, so now if we want to add a section, what we could do is we could actually just copy and paste the hero section and then change the name here. So we'll call it videos. Oops. And here we'll just take this out, take out the text. Oh, I made a copy, so I can't do that actually. Yeah. All right, so I have my videos here. And so as I mentioned here, we have like one small column and one big column. So how do you do that? And the advantage of that, I'll show you right afterwards, is that it's responsive by default. So we'll go ahead and get the columns element and we'll drag and drop it here. And you see here, you can resize this way, or you can go ahead and choose, when you're in the columns element, you can choose different views like this. So we'll go for this one, a small column and a larger one. And basically the left column, we're going to rename courses, because that's where we're going to have our list of courses, and lessons. So on the left side, we'll have our courses, and let's do it right now, actually. So I'll just add with a button element here. And so this is So some users find this trickier, so I'm gonna try to explain as best as I can how it works. Basically, what we want to do here is we want to repeat this button as as often as many times as we have courses. So we have 8 courses, so we need 8 buttons. And what we need in order to do that is on the parent element of the button, we're gonna bind our collection, so our courses collection. And as soon as we do that, WeWeb, remember we set up the courses collection in here, so WeWeb automatically finds the data, and it knows that it has 8 items. So in code, it starts at 0. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, to 3 to 7, and in the navigator, we still only have one button, but it's repeated. It's a repeated element. If you know bubble, this is a basically repeating group, and this is the repeated item.
Yeah, this is a
And
collection list in Webflow.
in Webflow, it's a collection list, and in WeWeb, it's also a collection list. So you actually have a collection list element in WeWeb, which you can drag and drop. But the superpower of WeWeb is that you can actually bind a list to any container, including columns or flex boxes. You can bind a list to any container. But what's important to understand is that the the list will repeat items inside that container to the first child of that container. Does that make sense, Quentin? Do you for
I
for you,
I
would you
think
explain
so.
it
I mean,
differently?
I'm so used to WeWeb that yeah, but
Yeah.
the really important thing is that it repeats the first element inside the parent, and this element could also be a container, like a div or flexbox.
Yeah,
Could be anything, a
sure.
button, anything. And if you do this, like for example, on another div, like you could have a card. What we've done in the job board several office hours,
Mm,
like in the past office hour or the one before, I don't remember, is that you can also bind a flexbox containing another flexbox, and it will repeat this flexbox, and everything inside would be repeated
yeah.
too.
Actually, I'm going to show it quickly in this example, which is a real estate listing example. So in
Nice.
this case, we have one flex box, and in the flex box, we have cards. Basically, we have an image, we have a title, we have a listing, and what we did is we bound the collection to this parent element of the flex box. So this is a card. Basically, it's called flex box, but it's one item, and inside that item, like this will be repeated. Basically, this is the
Yeah.
child that will be repeated from the collection. And so in
And
our
you
use
see,
case, sorry.
yeah, sorry, I wanted to say you see it only once in the navigator because it's technically it's the same element duplicated, and like only the data changes, but like the design is the same because
Yeah,
it's always the same element repeated visually, but the design is like spread across this element. And
yeah,
yeah, that's why you see it only once, because it wouldn't make sense to change the design for like one item. And I mean, you can do this if you bind the design um, to a specific value in your database, for example. But
yeah.
that's something for yeah another day.
And so here you see that we bind the items at this level, at the image level, the text level. We don't bind it at this level because then it would repeat the same text. It would repeat on all the cards. So that's a bit more about how that works. And here we're in this use case, we're going to make it very obvious here by binding the text to the course name. So suddenly you see that you have all the course names, and it makes much more sense. So now these are really ugly, so let's change this a bit. We'll set width of 150, let's say. We'll go ahead and add some bottom margin. Oops, just bottom margin. I'll go with 16. That's a bit much. So we'll go with 8. And we're gonna have round edges again. So we'll go ahead and put 16 pixels here, and you can add in percent, but I like to have them in pixels. So we can also style the text inside. You can go ahead and add a bit of weight here, semi-bold. And yeah, we'll leave them in blue for now because I'm going to show you afterwards style them based on whether we click on them or not. Okay, so that's our list of courses. And now let's add our list of lessons. And what we do is what we've done in WeWeb is basically here we have an image, and we repeat the image. And let me first bind to my collection of lessons, and then I'm going to bind the image, which is the thumbnail, and in Airtable it's a URL. So there you go. Now you have all the lessons here. It looks pretty different to what we have here, so let's change that a bit. What we want to do is first at the image level, we're actually only going to go and have them at 30% width. And here on the flexbox, we'll change we'll put it into horizontal, and we'll also change the setting. We'll change the justify setting so that it spreads out a bit. And now what we can do is we can add a bit of margins to our images as well. Let me see, I'll just put some bottom margin and do it this way. I'm gonna add some corner radius again. So it's really this setting. And what we did, so we could do it differently here. Let's do it actually as we would in WeWeb. So in WeWeb, you see here we have a black background. So we're gonna add a black background. Wow, that's difficult to say. We'll add it here. And so I can show you here now on the image, what I did in WeWeb is we have a solid border, which is white. So if we wanted, we can style the buttons as well. We'll leave it at that for now. And just so you know, at the moment in WeWeb, you can style the background color of sections. If you want to style the background color of the entire page or an entire project, you would need to go into your page settings, custom code, and add some CSS style here in the head, or at project level, if you wanted to apply on all the project and add some custom code here, some CSS style here in the head. Just so you know, that will only apply once you've published the website. You won't be able to see it here in preview. So for the purpose of this use case, we're just adding the background color right here. Okay, so now we have our lessons, we have our courses, we have a search bar, but we can't search it and we can't filter yet. So let's does that make sense, by the way, Pipetran or anyone? For the black background, can you add a switch to change from light to dark theme? We could do that actually. We could add I guess we could add a little element that would that would stay at the bottom left, for example, of our app, and would be a toggle to change that, and we would bind it to a variable. Like we would bind the background color to that variable. That would be doable.
And by the way, your heading disappeared because now it's black.
Oh
and
yeah,
black.
right. Good point. So my heading, let's see, where is my text color? Is white. Here we go. Well done. Okay, cool. So we've done that. Maybe, oh yeah, one thing I'd like to do is first, I'd like to show you how to add a link. So on our website, when you click here, you'll be redirected to a YouTube video. So let's do that here. You can do that when you select the image, so the repeated element, the repeated item, you can go here and link to a URL and target this video URL. That's how we did it. And something else we did on our website is when you're on hover, we transformed this a little bit. So on hover here, you have to click on here, and that will modify the styling of the element when it's when the user is hovering over it. And what we did then is we went and transformed the scale. We can set it to 0.5, 0.5, and just add a bit of transition here. And then in default, we'll add a transition as well here. So now when the user hovers on this, it will pop. It will pop a little bit, and it will be more obvious that you can click on it, even though there's also the little hand that appears, a little cursor that changes. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for the design side of things. Now let's work with the search, and the selected categories. So you would have two different ways of doing this. You could really set up the filters here on the page. But in this case, we're not going to do that. We're going to set the filters at the collection level. The reason we're going to set them at the collection level is because it will allow us to do some cool stuff like adding a loader. So this loader, for example, and also when we can't find a lesson, we'll be able to display this. And so we will be able to do that based on a variable called isFetching, and also on whether there is an element here or not. So it'll become clear as I demonstrate. But basically, the first thing we'll want to do is we'll want to create two variables. This search bar value, by the way, is there are two because I copied the section earlier, but the search bar value is added automatically when you drag and drop the search bar element. Let me refresh the page so it deletes the search bar variable that I deleted when I changed the section. So here I'm going to add a variable called search lesson or search term. Let's say search term. It will be a string, and by default it will be empty. And so this search term, I'm going to, on my search bar, I'm going to set it as the initial value. So the initial value will be the search term. So when it's nothing, it's nothing. Now, the second variable is going to be selected course. And this will be, what will it be? It will
An
be a string,
object,
actually. Yeah.
if it's a course.
It can,
Oh yeah, it could be the string.
yeah, it can be the string because I'm just going to use the name. And by default, it will be all, because by default, I want to show all the courses. So, and just so you know, in my database, the way that's set up is that for all the courses, for all the lessons, sorry, I chose a course, and also I selected all. So it appears in all. As the academy grows, I will probably, we might, some lessons we might hide them from the all section because it's starting to become pretty big already. So we might change that. But that's how we set up so far. Okay, so we bound the initial value of the search term is nothing. If we go into preview mode and we select, if we type in something, you can see here that our search bar value, the one that comes with the component, says Zano, says what we said. But here the search term is still empty because we haven't done anything yet. We haven't set up the workflow. So we need to set up the workflow, which is, we'll set it here on the search bar. We'll say when there's on change. So anytime there's a change, we'll change a variable value. So we'll change the variable value search term. And what we'll do is here, we'll want to put the value that's in the component, in the search bar component. And then what we'll do, well, actually, let me first show you what that does. In preview mode, again, Zano. And now we have it here, and we also have it here in the variable we created. So we have it in the component variable, that's by default when you drag and drop a search element, and we have it in the search term that we created. Now, once we've done that, what we want to do is in the in our collection here, we want to filter by search term. So this collection, the lessons, will say where the description of the lesson contains our variable search term,
I'm wondering
or
if you can use only the
you
search bar
can't.
value.
I tried it. So you, in
Ah,
our use case, you cannot,
crap.
but it's related to the hover
Ah, yeah,
and
okay.
yeah, so that's why we're doing it this way. But here we go. So this says if the description contains our search term, or if our lesson contains our search term, then we want to filter the data based on this. And the lesson, of course, is this. So the text in this column, and the description is the text in this column. Okay, so now you see that we only have 3 lessons, because right now we have Xano as in as a variable here. But if we change, if we do it again, at the moment it will not work. The reason it will not work is because even though you can see here that the search term is being updated, but it's actually not refetching the collection. So this collection is still stuck on, like, it's still stuck here. We're not refetching the data. So in our workflow on the search term, on the search bar, we're also going to refetch the collection. We're going to fetch the collection, and the collection is going to be lessons. All right, so now if we do that, it should go ahead and get the lessons. And so just to clarify, what this does is our workflow says, okay, when we type in Xano, you're going to tell our search term variable to put Xano, and then you're going to go ahead and get the data again and filter through so that this is up to date, so that right now it says Xano. And it fetches this information that then displays here. Oops. Displays here. So it's a bit, again, if you wanted to do it simpler, you could absolutely just do this at the filter level here, and then all you would have to do is you could use contains the component search term. That would absolutely work. That's what we showed you in last week's office hours. So you could absolutely do that, but it would, if you did that, you would not be able to add the loader, and you would not be able to display a separate message when you don't have any results. Okay, so now back to this. We set up the search. Now the search term works fine. Just checking the time to make sure I have time to go through the select dropdown as well for PipeChan. And now what we want to do is we actually want to be able to select the category. So what we'll do here is we created a variable called selected course, and what we'll do is that we'll create a workflow on the button, and the workflow will be on click. So whenever your user clicks on a button, we want to change the variable, and we want to the variable we want to change is the selected course, and the new value will be the course name. So by default, WeWeb shows you the item you're on. So if you were on a separate button, a different button, it would show you here. So what's important here is we want the selected course to be course name. So in this case, it's quick start. If we clicked here, it would be use cases. You get the idea. So WeWeb is smart and knows which item in the collection list you're on. So we've changed that, and again, we're going to want to refetch the collection. So we'll fetch the lessons collection. And so what we need to do, if I go into preview, it will not work because what I didn't do yet is I didn't set up the filter on my collection. So here I'm going to add a filter. I'm going to add a condition here so here I have when there's a search term, and here it will be when courses. So here, when courses here contains, and it will be our selected course. If we go ahead and save, we should be, oh, I need to apply it only if there's, let me check this. So the course contains use cases. Let's see here if I do this. No, so right now it's filtering. So contain all this should. Let
I
me
think you need
check my.
the lookup depth for this, no?
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's what we were thinking earlier, where I couldn't remember if I needed the lookup depth or not. So the reason I need the lookup depth is if I look at actually, let me delete this filter so I can show you. Now, if I look in here, so this is the data that I have 0 depth, and the data I get here is the description, the thumbnail, the order in the course, the lesson, the status, but I'm not able to go and get this. I only get the record ID. So I actually do not need the lookup depth, but in that case, if I don't have the lookup depth, I don't have the name of the course. I only have the ID of the course. So what I'm going to do is so I have 2 options. Either I add a lookup depth and I can search by name of the course, like all use cases I showed you. Otherwise, what I can do is I can here, so in my workflow, instead of giving it the name, I can give it the ID. And here I will copy this ID because it's the ID for the all course. And instead of saying my default value is all, I will say my default value is this, which is the equivalent in Airtable language. And now if I go back to my collections, that should work. So let's see, the courses contains, let's see if that works. Go. There we go. So now it should work. Let's see, quick start. Yeah, it does. So we can, oh, it's locked on here. Let's see if I reset. Oh, that's funny because it worked on my, oh, I think I went too fast on that. I clicked too fast and I made the browser bug. Oh yeah, maybe I need to, in my,
Yeah,
in
maybe it's
here, I'm just
Airtable
gonna,
that's taking quite some time because it's dynamic and on our website it's
yeah.
cached. So maybe we're spamming the Airtable API and then it's like, yeah, slow down.
Actually, I switched it to dynamic on our website because I
Oh yeah?
didn't want to, yeah, because oh, maybe I did that for the changelog actually. I can't remember. But what we can do here, oh no, we'll leave it at that. So now this should be okay. What do I do here? I'm wondering if it would help if I only applied the course, if I only applied the filter, if it's different to this
Yeah, it
or
shouldn't
not.
change, but
It shouldn't change. Okay, well, let's move on. Let's see here.
I think, yeah, it's still fetching, no?
Okay, so I'm annoying I'm annoying Airtable now. Okay, what I'll do is I'll switch to cache mode for the please make
Oh,
sure. Yeah.
apparently it's the API key. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's strange because it worked. Let me check the. So the lesson is here. Let's go back to dynamic.
Yeah, unable to pull your bases. Did maybe it could happen, but you have to check, and then I will remove the screen. Ah, okay, no, it's working. Cool.
Yeah, it's
Because
working. Yeah.
sometimes, like when your API key gets spammed, Airtable will automatically
Mm.
change it to prevent theft. And our CTO is speaking in French, but yeah, he's telling that Airtable is dead
Airtable is
currently
down.
for
Okay, for
everyone.
everyone. Okay,
Nice.
well that's good. We're really
First
lucky.
time.
Okay, that's fine. So actually we don't need Airtable anymore. What I want to do is, well, yeah, Pipetran, it's back. Okay, cool. All right, so now it should work fine. Let's see, use cases.
Obviously,
There you go.
when we're presenting something, Airtable is down. And that's why
It's
sometimes you need sketched because, yeah, when you're dependent on an external API, when you're using dynamic, you're pinging this API every time. Like every time you're searching here or like fetching another collection, you're pinging Airtable API. So this can be quite a load on the servers.
yeah, and of course we always have the demo effect. It reminds me in December when Amazon was down. And
Yeah.
so people thought there was something wrong with every tool on the planet, but it was actually Amazon, which powers a lot of the tools,
And apparently Brian is
including
loving your
WeWeb.
tutorial, Joyce. So well done.
Awesome, cool. All right, so actually, I want to show you a few like kind of gimmicky things that I really love in WeWeb, which is, we'll change the style of the button when so we know uh, the active button, kind of, the last button that the user clicked on. So to do that, actually, let me do it now. We can say we'll change the button background and say here we'll say if our selected course is the same as the ID of the current item, then we want the background color to be white, which is not black, and otherwise we'll leave it as black. And we'll do the same with the text, because obviously now I can't see my text anymore. And let's go. Where is it? It's right here. We'll do the same thing. We'll say if our selected course variable is the same as the currently selected course, then I'll want my text to be black. Otherwise, I will want it white. All right. And now what we can do here maybe is we can just add a little bit of a border one and white, which is I think what we have here, yeah, in our live site. Okay, so now when we click, it updates the lessons, our lessons collection, but it also changes the styling of the button, which I love. It's kind of gimmicky, but I love that. And another thing I wanted to show you is how to add this message if you don't have any results. So in our case, we just started the academy a few weeks ago. So when when we don't have a video yet, we would like you to go and ask the community on discourse. So in order to do that, I'm going to, and by the way, if there are other questions, don't hesitate to
Please,
to
okay at the
interrupt me.
moment.
All right, cool. All right, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'm gonna add a little flexbox here. So a little container. I'll actually add it here, and I'll go ahead and put my lessons inside that container, and rename this. I'll rename this lessons, and here I'll rename it with videos.
Mhm.
And I'll just go back to my columns element and reshape it again. So let's see what. Oh yeah, because my videos were at the width I want at 100%. So now I have a lessons column, the videos inside the lessons, and I want to add another container inside the this container here. And in there, I will have a text element, which it will drag and drop here. And I'll also add a button, which we'll add right below the text. So the text right now is in black. So let me just change this here. All right. So the container will change to vertical, and what I'll do, I'll just copy paste what I put here. Boom. I'll copy it in our text here. And there we go. I can change the styling a little bit. Oops. And weight. I put it like this. And the container, actually, I'm gonna try to style it a little bit. So the background color will be white. So I should not have changed the text color. No anticipation on my side part here. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of padding here. Maybe that's a bit much. And let's add the corner radius. 16 is everywhere. And here on my text, on my button, sorry, I'll add some top margin just here, and I'll go ahead and add 16 or 24. I don't know, 6. All right. And here I'll say ask the community. Again, you can style it. You can add corner radius here if you wanted to. And basically here, what we do is we just um, link it to a URL, and the URL is community um, weweb.io. Okay, so we have our little container here, which we'll call no results. And what we do is we don't want to display it when there's a result, obviously. It would defeat the purpose. So what we'll do is we'll add a conditional display. By default, it will be off. But what we'll do is we'll bind it, and we'll say if there's an item, basically. So here, sorry, let me put the if. If there is one item in our list of lessons, well, if there isn't an item on our list of lessons, so if it's undefined, and
Oh, you would do this like that. Okay.
yeah, and if our collection list has stopped fetching, so if it's false,
Mhm.
then I will want to display it, and otherwise I will not want to display it. And let me just walk you through a bit. And this is why we went through the filter on our at collection level instead of the front end instead of page level, is because now if we look for RoboCop, I don't know why I'm obsessed with RoboCop at the moment. So first of all, you see it works. You see this pops up. But what's interesting is if you go here on the videos, you see here it's empty. So there is no item.
Mm.
This little thing here is undefined. But if you put the filters here at the page level, this will never be undefined because we will have the data here. It's just that we will filter it at this level, so we will not display it, but it will be here. It will be defined here. So that's why we went through the trouble of creating the filter on
That's
at
funny
collection level,
because I've
and
done
it's
the same
something.
on in the integration page, you know. I use the I have the exact same use case, and I use the length of the collection
Oh yeah, that's a good
because
idea.
like the
And
collection
but
is an array, and when you have no results, like the length is 0.
in dynamic,
In dynamic also, I think.
would have to double check that because I had
Not sure, but yeah.
but yeah, worth giving a try. Actually, we can. Let me just go through the. I'll
But
go
it
through the
works, I mean.
loader. Yeah, for sure. In my mind, if it's dynamic, you will have the length. The length will not be 0. I don't think because I've had that issue with the job board. You know, when you filter and you sum the results.
Maybe, yeah.
So I think if you have the filters here, uh, but worth giving a
No,
try.
I've got the filters at the collection level too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, okay, yeah. So
Because
yeah, definitely you could work with a you could
some would argue that testing if something is undefined is not like best practice, but
sure.
yeah, it works. I
Yeah.
mean,
But for sure we can do it on the length as well. Sorry, yeah. So I thought you
no, I
were
mean, no, it works. So yeah, never mind.
no, but I mean I thought you were saying it would work if the filter were on the page. I don't think that would it would. That's what it.
No. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you've
yeah.
done.
But yeah, for sure. So this works as well. You can do it on the data length as well. So if data length equals 0, and the lesson is not the collection is not fetching anymore.
It's always funny to
Uh,
see how people are building things in WeWeb because there's so many ways to do it that I mean
Yeah,
they
for
all
sure.
work. So
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay, so we've got this, and yeah, and so the is the sorry, I want to just show you this as well. So when the collection is being fetched, here we'll say true. So that's why we have a condition saying we want to make sure that it's finished fetching, because actually when the collection is being fetched, we want to display a loader. So that's what we'll do now. And I realize it's it's taken me longer than I thought it would. Uh, So I'm sorry, PipeChan, if we don't have time to go through your question. I'll show you the. Actually, let me show you the select dropdown right away, because I want to at least show you that. So this is the element you would get, the select here, and you could let's put it here. And here to have the options, you would go ahead and go and get your bind it to your collection, and then basically you would have um, these
yeah,
things here. And what you can do then is on the front on your collection. So I'll show you how to do the filter here at the page level. You could say if a description contains the value of the drop down component, or if the lesson text contains this value from the drop down, then you would filter on that. Um, let's give this a try. So then you could filter it this way. Oh, I guess there
yeah,
are conflicting.
you have to
Oh,
select the
that's because I
value.
don't have. No,
Like
but also I don't. Yeah, because of the depth. So the value field would be the ID, because remember we didn't set a
mm,
collection depth. So in the lessons we only have the ID of the course. And now if we went ahead and did this, why is it not working? I'm thinking maybe I have conflicts between filters. Let me just get rid of those filters here. No, it's this one I want to get rid of. What did I do? Oh no, I did something silly.
Yeah, but maybe on the collection, because I think
Yeah,
you
sorry, it's the yeah, I
had
did
on
the
two
wrong
things,
filter. Sorry, I did the wrong filter. Sorry.
like description,
Um, yeah, it's not this one. It's actually the condition is the
courses.
where the
Courses
courses,
contains the ID, yeah.
yeah, and the ID. Sorry, my bad. Oops.
And now it should be okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna add the collection depth. It'll be easier. Drop down value is this, and so this. Oh, all right. So what did I do here? All right. Take the. There we go. Sorry about that. I was rushing through it because I didn't want to keep you waiting, but there you go. Sorry, Pipe Tran. Maybe it was a bit okay. I think you got it from your comment. It seems like you got it, so I'm glad because I rushed through this a bit. I didn't want to disappoint you. I promised this at the beginning. So yeah, you would go ahead and bind the collection to the drop down. Now, if we have just a few minutes left, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and yeah, I'll go ahead and actually have an image here, which will have an art loader. The image will be, I'll upload GIF here. Oh, I chose one that worked. Anyway, it's not very pretty and it's not gonna look good on with a black background. So let me just change the background to white again. Where is my loader? It's here. Oof, it's very small. Let's add a bit. Let's add a bit of. All right, I'll add that here. And basically what we'll do is the loader, so this is very ugly, it's just to show you it can be done. The loader will go and display it, so it will be off, and we will display it if this is true. So if this is true, then yes, we want to display this, otherwise false.
And if some of you
And
are like used to coding already, you can use only the variable because it's a boolean, so it will be always true
true,
or false. So you don't need the if, because
yeah.
you're basically what you are doing is like if true, true, if false, false.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
actually, I was going to do even more
Yeah.
than that. I was going to say if lesson is fetching is true, then you cannot be more explicit. So,
Yeah.
but yes, it would work without all that. So there you can see it now that if I say let me go on Zano, uh, so you see
Yeah, because you've got the drop
except
down.
that
Yeah.
yeah, the drop down is pretty okay. Let me get rid of the drop down and get rid of the filter on the drop down because I'm gonna be in trouble otherwise. And but what you'll have noticed is that the videos are displaying. So there's a small moment where both appear. So here both appear at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and on the videos, I'll do the same. Um, I'll do a display, except in this case, it will be, I will have um, to go ahead and say if false,
Hmm.
I want to display.
And again, here,
And
if you want to go fast, you can use not
not, you want to
the
say not?
variable.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
No, it's
see. So
just
you can do not here, or you can actually type in exclamation mark
yeah, like
equal, and
JavaScript.
it will automatically go ahead and um,
No, it's
Is that right?
double exclamation mark.
Double
Or one.
exclamation
Just
mark?
one. Just one normally. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, right. Oops, sorry. All right, now I'm getting confused because I'm on the wrong keyboard. All right, there we go. Current value is
Yeah, and
true.
like we've got a function for that is the not,
All right,
because like not something is like basically giving
yeah,
you the opposite. So like
that's
not
this one,
true
right?
is false and not false is true.
Did you mean this one? Or do
No,
we have a not?
this is not equal. We have got the not function at the beginning.
Where is
Like
it?
yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah,
one.
this one. Okay, so here, you could also say not. Oops, in that case, you would put it here.
Yeah.
All right, and this should be fine. Now we have. Oh, now of course my styling is ugly because I changed the background color, but you get the idea. Hopefully, this will have been helpful. What I'll do actually is um, I will make a text-based tutorial that I will post in our new tutorials category on the community. So if you need, you can watch the replay, of course. But if you like to have a open window and follow step by step, I'll have that ready for you next week.
Nice.
Or I went a bit. I thought it would be much quicker. I'm sorry. I promised like 20-30 minutes to pipe trend, and then I just rambled on. So sorry about that. Um, we've definitely made a note of your questions. So we'll address those. We'll address those for sure in a future office hour. Okay, cool. I think that's it for this week.
Yeah. See you next week
Perfect.
then. Same time,
Yeah.
same day.
Have a
And
great week.
yeah. Bye people.
Bye.